Hey guys. Okay, I think this is next experience I had. This experience I had is I think it had to do with ETs, and I'll tell you why when it's over. So I'm in Chatham. It's the early '80s, early '80s. Yep. And it's that night, and I'm watching. Me and my buddy are watching In Search of and Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son, and then In Search of, and then it's midnight. We watched that for years. Okay, that was a routine. So anyway, for me anyway. So we're at my house watching that, and then it's over with, and time to go home. So I'm gonna walk him home. I'm gonna go to the store, buy Mom some milk or whatever, because I told her where I was. And so we decided. I go, hey man, and we're outside and we're getting ready to go, and it's a beautiful night, really quiet, 70 degrees, beautiful, beautiful. Not a sound, no wind. And I go, hey, let's take the railroad tracks, right? And I'm thinking about the ETs, right? And I'm thinking about, I'm not really thinking about the ETs, but I'm thinking, why is it so weird? The weird feeling. I got this weird feeling of this night. And I've had it a lot of times. Can't really relate it to anything, but later on I do. At the time, I didn't relate it to anything. I go, let's take the tracks. And the railroad tracks, which go right down, right through Chatham. And it's the CN line. And so anyway, we get up on the tracks, and we're walking down the railroad tracks, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. I'm pretty sure 4 or 5 lines. I think 4. Then there's the side road. Then there's a cement fence for a junkyard. Over the cement fence is the junkyard. Or basically, it's just construction crap, like rebar and cement. That's where they dumped it all. Anyway, so we're walking down the tracks. It's midnight. And we're walking, just walking. And all of a sudden, in front of us, about, I don't know, 10, 20 yards away, 15 yards, this black animal, but the size of a German Shepherd, a full-grown big German Shepherd, comes out on our rail line. We're on the first rail line, and we're looking at it like, look. He's like, whoa, and its ears are sticking up like this. Its ears are sticking up, and it's on all fours. Then it stops in the middle of the rail line, crouches on its butt, and its front legs are sticking down like this, and it's sitting on his butt. And it's looking around like this, looking around. It don't see us yet. It's looking around. I think it's scratching or licking or something. So I'm thinking this is a dog, like a big ass dog, right? But it don't look like a dog. It looks more like a cougar. A cross between a cougar and a hyena. Like the front end looked like dog cougar, and the back end looked like hyena. It had a big fat rump, big fat legs in the back, and they're shorter. It's like shorter in the back and longer in the front. But anyway, we're looking at it, and it's got these 2 horns. I can't see; it's just a black outline, but it ain't that far away. It's right there, and so we're looking at it. And then I go, "Hey, I go, what is it?" And he goes, "I don't know. I can't figure it out." And I go, "Well, let's throw rocks at it." Right? And he goes, "Okay." So we bent down. I picked up a couple rocks. I gave him one. I go, "To count of 3." And he goes, "Okay." I go, "Don't hit it. Just try it." He goes, "Hell no, I ain't hitting it." Because you don't want it to get him chasing, right? And so we both count 3. 1, 2, 3. And we throw our rocks in the general area over there by it. And you hear of the rocks hitting the gravel. And all of a sudden, it goes and looks at us like that, right? And it looked at us, and as soon as it looked at us, its eyes glowed red, like the brake lights of a car. I mean, glowed red. And then it dimmed out and went boosh, like that. And I went to turn to my buddy, and he's already running. I'm frozen in place. I'm like, I'm frozen, right? I cannot believe I just saw its eyes turn red, like brake lights of a car. They shone red. And it was slow. It was like that. It wasn't blink. It was whoosh. And I'm like, holy fuck. My buddy's running. I can't run, so I figured, I'm paralyzed. I can't run. So I sit there and watch it. And then, after his eyes glowed red, it turned its head and it jumped from the rails. It jumped and it cleared the rail line beside it, the next rail line, and the rail line over there, the fourth rail line. And it came down like that and then jumped again. And then it jumped in the weeds on the other side of the one-lane road, like it was a one-lane dirt road. And then it jumped down in the weeds from there on the other side of the road. And then it jumped up again onto a railroad telephone pole. You know them old wooden railroad telephone poles? But it had no things on top. It was just a pole and no wires or anything. And it ran up the top of the telephone pole. And the top of the telephone pole was it had to have been like no bigger than my head around, if not smaller. And it perched on top. And when it jumped, it leaped like and I had never seen anything leap like that. And that freaked me out, the way it leaped. And then it leaped onto the telephone pole and leaped up to the top. It was like it was anti-grav or something. It was like it was defying gravity. So the muscles in this thing must have been pretty powerful, you know. I mean, you see a small cat doing that, going up like a squirrel, but nothing the size of a fucking German Shepherd acting like that. Anyway, that kind of threw me off. That kind of blew me away. Then it perched on top of the telephone pole, stopped, all fours, and its rump sitting on top of the telephone pole. Or from what I could see, it was just its four legs. And it stopped, perched there, looked back at me, looked ahead again, jumped off the telephone pole and into the junkyard, which was all rebar and concrete, for about 100 yards. And I'm like, so I turned around and I ran. So we ran back to my house, and we were both freaking out. And I'm going, what was that? What was that? And he's like, I don't know. I don't even want to know. I don't know. And he goes, I go, did you see his fucking eyes? He's like, yeah, why do you think I fucking ran? Oh, man. So, okay. That was our episode. And so, years later, I'm thinking about what happened, right? And I'm listening to Dog Man and Sasquatch and Dog Man and the Demon Dog reports online, you know, podcasts and stuff. They have all that. And I'm listening to it, and I've heard two other people. There's a lady out there who wrote a book who has all these Demon Dog reports. And they're pretty much the same type of thing I saw. Black, and its eyes shone red. Other people have seen it. Now, I never did once walk on two legs, so it wasn't like a Dog Man thing. But people saw this demon dog, and they reported the exact same thing I saw. Its ears were sticking up. It looked like a Doberman Pinscher, but it had a shorter snout. It didn't have that long one, right? Like Dobes have. It had the short one. It was weird. And it ran like the demon on Ghostbusters, the first Ghostbusters. You know, that gargoyle demon thing is running around the street, smashing into cars and stuff. It was running like that, like super leaps, like stupid. And it was surreal. It was like not supposed to be, but there it is, right? And that's what I was perceiving. And its eyes glowed red, man. Now, there was a junkyard quarter mile away that had floodlights for the truck plant where they park the trucks, and the security guys had floodlights, and it lit it up over there pretty well. Well, the dog thing, whatever it was, when it looked at me, the floodlights would have been a quarter mile back there. Now, the way I figure it is, it looked at me, its pupils opened up, which reflected the red off the floodlights. That could have went That's what could have happened. And that's why I seen it like that. It flashed red. That's why. But it was red, dude. It was red. It was like stupid red. Brake lights of a car. That red. I ain't never seen anything like that. Is that normal in the animal world? I don't know. I've seen bear. I've seen moose. I've seen deer, foxes, skunks, raccoons, possums, all reflecting eye shine with a flashlight, and it never did that, and it was never that red. Not one of them. So whatever the hell this was, living in southern Ontario in the middle of cornfield country, wasn't normal. That's for goddamn sure. And it wasn't a cougar, and there's no cougars around here. All southern Ontario. And I don't know what it was. It looked like a dog, but not totally. It looked like a cougar, but not totally. It looked more like a cougar dog. I don't know. But the reason I think it's related to ETs is because of this. The air in the night, it was weird. And I now have plenty of examples of ET contacts that came on these type of nights where there was no wind, it was still, it was quiet, and it was weird. And it was beautiful, but weird. That was one of these nights. Now I think the ETs were doing a psychological thing on me. Or I'm just totally off base. I had no answer. I got no tingles on this subject at all. I'm just reasoning it out, and here it is for the sake of reasoning. Because I've had other experiences where it's been like a psyop on me to see my reaction. The ETs would do something to see my reaction. The whistling in the bedroom behind the wall was perfect tone, like a robot, for about 10-15 minutes. Over and over and over, like a recording, and it was perfect. As soon as I clicked the doorknob, it stopped. That was a psycho test to see what I would react. I know it from the ETs. This, I think, is different, but I think it's the same. I think it's from the ETs. Now, what the ETs can do all interdimensional jumping and go to different realities, why not, in a timeline, want to see me and my buddy's reaction to an unknown creature from another dimension? You can take a non-hostile creature, put it in this reality. I know they can. It's like driving a car to them. Take it out of another dimension, put it in this dimension. We see it. It reacts. We react. And they learn what they need to learn because they're watching us. The ETs. And I didn't know it then, but I know it could have very well been the ETs that did this. So I think they were doing psycho ops on us to see our reactions and stuff. I'm pretty damn well sure of it. I can't prove it. I wish I could. But there's no other reason why people are seeing these dog men, demon dogs, and the reports are the exact same as what we saw. And we didn't even have a computer back then in the 80s. None of us kids did. We didn't have that shit until the 90s. Okay? Poor kids in Chatham, Ontario didn't have personal computers looking for fucking dog man. We're still rotary phones, okay? I'm a little goddamn country town. I didn't know nobody who had a dog man sighting where his eyes glowed red. In the 1990s, I get online and I'm hearing people reporting the same goddamn thing I saw back then. So you got to throw all them factors into consideration, the ETs. There's this thing, and then the reports coming out later on when you can finally communicate to the rest of the world. And you can only add up. That's what you saw, right? Now, how come if this thing was running around Chatham, it must have been reported. The police would have been looking for it. The dog catchers would have been looking for it. Everybody would be locking their kids inside as soon as someone reported this. Because that fucking thing could not walk around Chatham without people noticing it. And that is that. I don't know. We're surrounded by cornfields in the city. Hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of cornfields. From here to fucking Toronto. From Windsor to Toronto, fucking cornfields, damn near. Well, at least to London. Anybody seen this thing, daytime or night, they would freak. But no one ever reported it. No one ever, and all the other sightings of a demon dog, supposedly demon dog, only one person saw it, or one group of people seen it, or one person saw it, but it was never reported on and on and on throughout the city. In most of the cases. So there you go. I'm just saying. So I think the ETs are messing with you, messing with us. What are the odds of that happening? All right. Bet you walking down the railroad tracks in the middle of nowhere. Demon dog comes out, glows his eyes at you, runs away in a freaky metaphysical way, jumps off a telephone pole into a fucking junkyard full of concrete and rebar. You couldn't walk in that junkyard. We didn't even go in it because it's broken concrete with rebar sticking out. You slip, gouge. Even if you tried to walk, you can't. Because we were in there trying, and you can't. So we didn't even bother going in there. But I'm just saying, man, something to think about. Throw that in the pile of goodies to think about. Okay. And I have more experiences of weird stuff like this that's quasi-ET related. So I gotta bring that up later. Alright, guys. That's another experience I had. Me and my buddy.